Okay, since my last video did pretty well, I saw a lot of comments not only telling me to try other melee weapons, but also comments saying that Thalus wasn't even anywhere near being the best melee weapon in the game. So I decided that today I'm gonna try using Thalus alongside Harmony and Hate to see which of these three is the better Scythe. Now of course with any experiment there must be an independent variable and a constant variable, and in this case the independent variables are Thalus, Harmony, and Hate, and the constant variable will be the build each of them have. I gave each Scythe roughly the same build, of course home cooked and not completely stolen off the Warframe builds website. And the second constant in this experiment will be the mission I use to test each Scythe. It's a Steel Path survival mission, so it gives the Scythes enough of a challenge to actually have their potential be shown. And to kick off this video, we're gonna be starting with my personal favorite bad dragon, Thalus. So without further ado, let's see how it performs. Alright, so as we can see by the gameplay, Thalus is just a machine. A key point I want to highlight as well is that just like I showed in my last video, it's possible to constantly have its incarnate form ready whenever you need it, which I think is pretty cool. But anyways, damage-wise, this thing is hitting for around 35 to 60k on average with my build, and obviously its heavy attacks are gonna hit for a pretty good amount of damage. Okay, I know it doesn't look like a lot of damage, but this weapon just did 600k 3 times, so if we do 600k times 3, it's a pretty decent amount of damage. So overall, I'm gonna give this thing a solid 9 out of 10, definitely very fun to use and doesn't take much brain power to use it on a higher level. Up next we have a Scythe I have barely ever used, the Harmony. Alright, so if I'm gonna be honest, I don't think the build I made for this thing was good whatsoever. While I was using it, I noticed that it just lacked in everything that Thalus did. Its base damage was significantly less, its heavy attacks were actually much better, but the main thing I noticed were these white numbers that were doing a bunch of damage. I don't know what these are, but it was doing a lot of the heavy lifting for this weapon. So overall, Harmony is gonna get a solid 6 out of 10 for me. I just feel like it wasn't as much fun to use as Thalus. Hey guys, Future Cyber here. So while I was editing this video, I wasn't really feeling satisfied with my Harmony testing. So I did the only right thing. I copied a build off of Warframe builds and decided to try that out. And honestly, it immediately bumped Harmony up from a 6 out of 10 to an 11 out of 10. I mean seriously, this thing was packing a punch. All I had to do was just spam my heavy attack button and I literally won the game. I mean, just look at the damage this thing was doing. This thing is doing more consistent damage than the ending of a certain movie, and is doing much more consistent damage than Thalus. So yeah, Harmony is getting an 11 out of 10 from me. This thing is goated. Oh, and if you want to use the same build I'm using, here it is. And now we move on to the very popular, and in my opinion, the coolest looking Scythe in the game, Hate. Alright, just like the last two weapons, I'm gonna go over Hate's base melee damage first, and then its heavy damage, and then my overall rating of it. But obviously, I think everyone who's used a decent build with this thing is gonna know what my opinion is gonna be. Hate's base damage is pretty solid, hitting for roughly the same average that Thalus was hitting, but of course people aren't using Hate or even Harmony for their base attacks, and I think that's where I originally messed up with my Harmony build, because Hate's heavy attacks do a crazy amount of damage.
Now that's a lot of damage!
I mean, I've never hit damage numbers this high until I put on Hate. It's actually crazy how powerful this weapon is, especially being so easy to use. Plus, its incarnate form makes it all the more better, giving it projectiles when using its base melee attack. So overall, Hate is going to be getting a solid 20 out of 10 from me. This thing is the indisputable GOAT of Scythes for me. And with that, this is going to conclude this very short video testing which Scythe out of Thalus, Harmony, and Hate is better. Obviously, whatever weapon you prefer in Warframe is completely personal preference. Like, I'm not a fan of glaives, so I just don't use them ever, but that doesn't mean they're bad. And really, there is no bad weapon in Warframe. Every weapon can be absolutely goated when given enough time. So yeah, that's gonna end this video. Let me know if there's any weapons I should try out. Seriously, please, any more reasons to grind Warframe. But thank y'all so much for watching, and I'll see you all next time.